Trader Cobb Crypto Podcast. This is the Trader Cobb Crypto Podcast.
G'day and welcome to the Trader Cobb Crypto Show. Today's the next in the series, The Trader's Journey. I want to go through and basically cover something that you might not really want to know about. You might not really want to be involved with, but it's the pain barrier. And it's true, and you're going to have to break through it more than once before your time is done and before you become a successful, consistent trader. What do I mean by the pain barrier? Well, think about it like this. Most of you will have been in the position at this stage, and many of you might be very, very new to trading. So if you are very new, just accept that this is coming. Okay, so listen closely, know it's coming, and just understand it's part of your learning curve. But the pain barrier is the point at which you just feel like it's all too much. The point at which you do actually consider giving up. The point at which you almost like, I can see myself right now, you start sort of leaning forward in your desk and you just start shaking your head, you lean back in your chair, then you shut your eyes and you lean your head back and go, why am I doing this? Now I laugh because I've been in this position many times before. You're going to be there too. There's not many people that just walk straight into trading and have instant success without a bit of pain first. And that pain can come from risk management issues. You can, make a mistake by risking too much. You can have too much conviction in a trade and decide that instead of sticking to my risk rules, I'm going to increase the risk and risk 5% of my portfolio instead of the normal 1 or less that we recommend. And of course, then it hits you. Then you do it again. And you often find that your first pain barrier is when you go into a spiral. Yes, we lose some money and we say to ourselves, and I'm sure many of you have said this, I know I have, I'll just get that money back. So we're down 3% for the day and we go, I'll just get that money back. I've had 3 losing trades in a row. Look, I'm just going to put 3% on this, go for a 1-to-1, and then I'll call it a day. I'll be done. I just want to get that money back that I've lost. Now, that might seem like a logical idea at the time, but that is the first step down the staircase, which is covered in moss and very slippery, and you'll get to the bottom very quickly. The pain barrier. It's what exists if you take the wrong steps. Now, of course, I've got structure for everything. I have rules for everything. And I always, well, not always, but for the most part, I have done rule-based trading for most of my career. But in those early days, I didn't have that keel. Now, most of you that have done the courses and whatnot have somewhat of a keel because you've gone through and you understand the structure and you do have a process to follow. But that doesn't mean you're not going to go through the pain barrier. You're going to make your own mistakes. So I promise you that. You have to. And it's part of the journey. It's just part of how we roll. You've got to stuff up to win, okay? So just embrace it. I can tell you that the pain barrier is something that I learned from a very young age. I played rugby for a number of years. And my coach, Nigel, we played for the Noosa Dolphins, started playing, I think it was under 7s or under 8s. We were always told about this at training because we used to get, God, he pushed us so hard. I think he claimed anyway that he was an under 18 All Black, right? Whether he was or he wasn't, I don't know. We didn't have the internet to check these things back then, so he might have just been full of it. I'm not sure. Either way, the story stuck with me. The pain barrier is when you're training so hard or you're in the game and you feel like you're about to be sick, but you just find a little bit more. You just dig a little bit deeper and you just keep going. Why? Because that's just what you do. Winners don't stop. So the pain barrier is stuck with me. And believe it or not, for me, every time I've been in that situation where I felt like giving up, I have thought of my coach. I have thought of my rugby coach, Nigel, and I have considered what he has to say. I don't think he's with us anymore, but the message definitely stuck with me. It's the pain barrier. Winners push through it. People that don't win don't. They give up. They say it's too hard and they walk away. You're going to face the pain barrier and it's going to have many different faces. It may not be just losing. It may not be a loss on a trade. It may not be a succession of losses on a trade. It may be something as simple as, I don't know, you can have pain barriers that come from, not progressing at the rate you think you might like to. Some people might say that they want to be a full-time trader by the end of the year. They've got $5,000 in the account and they think it's achievable. Well, that probably is achievable if you live in a third world country and you can spend $4 a day. But if you live in a Western country where, things cost money, then you probably are not going to have that as a realistic goal. That's why we need to make sure our goals are in line with reality as well. So the pain barrier is going to come in many different ways, shapes and forms, guys. Don't be scared of it. When you get to that point where you feel like giving up, where you feel like it's all too hard, this is the point at which you can learn a huge amount. Not just about trading, but about yourself. See this as the most important point in your career to this moment. Because every time you are faced with that pain barrier and you walk through it, you win. You grow a little. When you really hit that barrier, right, that lesson, that pain should be enough to motivate you to learn from it and not make that same mistake again. So whatever it was that took you to the pain barrier and you push through it, make sure you do yourself the favor to learn from it. Because that's where the true journey is. To become successful, not just in trading, but in anything, you get thrown all sorts of tests. Now, as I say, winners don't give up. They push through that pain barrier. Now, you might need to take a rest. That's okay too. Pushing through doesn't mean, you've got to... I gave the sport analogy, the story of my rugby coach and pushing through that pain barrier. You get back up, you just keep going. But in other parts of life, people that get injured, people that have to have operations, all this sort of stuff. Sometimes, facing and doing the most you can is doing nothing at all. Whatever it is, make sure you step outside. When that pain barrier does hit, when you do find that wall that you're up against and it feels too hard, just step out of it. Take some deep breaths, go for a walk, lay down, do whatever you've got to do. Consider what's gone on. Write down bullet points as to what you're feeling. Write down bullet points as to how you think you got to this moment. And then maybe leave those bullet points for a day or two. Come back and reread them when the emotions pass a little bit more and see what you can pick up and learn from that. Because it's in our biggest failures that our biggest rewards come, if you are able to learn from it. Now, I said the word failure. Failure is if you give up. Mistakes are where lessons are made. Emotion and pain are things that we can learn from if you allow yourself. So don't be scared of the pain barrier, guys. You're going to come up against it. It's going to be there. It does exist. You will find it if you haven't already. Learn from it. Understand this is part of the journey and you've got to go through it a few times before you can truly have success. So embrace it. Love the process. And I'll speak to you again very, very soon. Have a great day, guys. Bye.
The Trader Cobb Crypto Podcast. Check out tradercobb.com because experience matters.